So, you've booked to come back to church for the first time in a long time. You've got your mask on and the music is blasting out God's praises, and you remember, you're still not allowed to sing. Well, if we can't raise our voices in worship, how about we learn to raise our eyebrows in worship? Hallelujah, hallelujah, or maybe not. But if not that, when it comes to worship, what could we still do together? Or perhaps more appropriately, what should we still do? What does the Bible have to say about how we can use our bodies in worship? Why kneel down in prayer? All throughout the Bible we see people bowing down before God, even rulers and kings who would never bow down to anyone else recognized that before God their position and authority was nothing at all. Abraham bowed down to pray, Joseph, David, Daniel, and in the New Testament too, Paul tells us, "For this reason I kneel before the Father," and that at the name of Jesus every knee should bow. But why? What are we doing when we bow our heads and bend our knees before God? One of the most common uses of kneeling these days is before royalty. We're in the presence of a higher authority, and it's just right that we recognise them as a mark of respect. And that's why we kneel before God. We literally make ourselves smaller to demonstrate with our bodies what we believe with our hearts, that He deserves all the attention, all the recognition, all the glory and the praise. Another time you might see someone kneel is when they surrender, usually to the police force or a member of the armed services. It's a position of weakness, isn't it? You can't fight well or run fast on your knees. It's making yourself vulnerable to show you know the other person has won. And that's why we kneel in worship, to surrender our lives to God. It's a way of physically embodying the prayer, "Not my will, but yours be done." Have you ever noticed too that when we feel really guilty about something and we want to avoid eye contact with somebody, we instinctively look down on the floor? The weight of the shame causes us to bow our faces. Sometimes we even cover them with our hands. And sometimes we need to kneel in prayer to confess our mistakes and our weakness to God, to acknowledge our guilt and to show that we're sorry. Have you ever seen somebody get down on one knee to propose? Sometimes we kneel down to request something, don't we? Usually when it's something big like marry me, or to show that our request is really desperate or urgent. We see people throwing themselves at Jesus' feet in the Gospels and pleading for mercy or healing or help. And even Jesus knelt down before the Father with his face to the ground in the Garden of Gethsemane. And so sometimes all we can do is to cast our whole selves down before God as we cry out to Him with our request. So whether we're lifting Him up or laying something down, crying out for mercy or calling out for help, come, let us bow down in worship. Let us kneel before the Lord, our Maker.